up to that fold-out table and grab a name tag with your name on it and get to mingling, because it's HowDoWeHuman, the podcast where we overanalyze all the weird and I'd say uncomfortable micro-moments in life. I am one of your hosts, Evan Cox.
I'm one of your hosts, Chris Binning.
Hey, today we're talking about reunions, going to them, holding them, watching them maybe.
Oh, sure, like the Friends reunion?
Sure,
is that what you're thinking of?
Liz, back when that happened, we were looking for any excuse to talk about the Friends reunion, and I don't think we ever did it.
No.
It sucked. But before we get into reunions, Chris.
Yes.
I need to reunite with the concept of how you're doing.
I'm doing all right. I first I want to apologize to you, Evan, because I had a fun idea for this story, and I just didn't follow through on it.
Well,
because I flew back to Phoenix for Thanksgiving, and I'm in my little window seat, and then this couple is next to me in the middle and aisle seats, and I think that they were probably upset that they had to pay for two seats, because it sure seemed like they really just wanted to be on one seat together. Very, very cuddly, armrest up, and their legs and arms are all pretzeled around each other. Weird.
Very weird.
But what was weirder than that were the conversations that they were having. And I've transcribed many of them. My initial plan was to type it into script format. We would alternate the lines back and forth. But I didn't do it. Okay. So I'm just going to read you some excerpts of what occurred next to me that I would hear. So one of the strangest things that I found was it felt almost like they were on like a first date at times. Like he's showing her photos of like his family basically. And so he's like scrolling through, he's like, oh, this is my brother. Oh, this is my dad, or, kind of pointing out all the family members. Oh, here's when we were all in Mykonos, things like that. And then that was like the first thing that flagged up to me was like, I don't know if this is the first time that you're talking about each other's families, or if you're like about to go spend Thanksgiving with his family, and like, oh, real quick, I gotta let you know who these people are as we're on the plane halfway right there.
I just remembered that was this to or from Thanksgiving?
This is to Thanksgiving. Okay. This is Thursday morning.
Oh man,
I am on the airplane.
Wild.
Yes. Another little excerpt. She asked him, "What's wrong?" And he said, "It's called resting. Ever heard of it? When I'm not doing my stand-up, playing video games, or messing around with you, I'm resting."
What?
And it's like, I couldn't quite tell at first. Like, that first sentence is like, maybe you're just like being a little jokester, just having an overreaction to a simple question. But the follow-up of when I'm not doing my stand-up, playing video games, or messing around with you, I'm resting.
At least 2 out of 3 of those known to have toxic communities within them.
Yeah.
I don't know about messing around with her. Maybe that's also... It feels like that could also be a toxic group.
Feels like it could be. Just the way that it was phrased. Yeah. The next thing was she, out of nowhere, I think. I did have my headphones in, and I was... actually, I don't even know if I had my headphones in at this point. But I think I missed, if there was one, a setup to what she was bringing up because it felt like out of nowhere she said, I was reading this article about nepotism in English schools, and where do the rich kids go to school, and that this article, over there, like public schools are more prestigious than private schools. And then he immediately cuts in and is like, no, they're not. And they go back and forth like, yeah, yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. And she was like, like boarding schools. And he was like, boarding schools are private schools. And so and she gives up. She's like, okay, well, whatever. The point is, there was no trend where the rich kids go to school. Then why bring that article up? Like, just weird.
You want to start a fight?
Yeah.
Don't talk about public and private schools. That is delightful. I love these two.
And here's the last exchange. And this one, in true, I was very thankful, I guess, in a way, because it did heighten. The last one is the most quote unquote outrageous of their exchanges. She said something to the effect, this one is a longer exchange, so it's paraphrased slightly, but I was furiously typing to get as much of it correct as I could. Awesome. But she says, enough with women getting boob jobs. Let's go back to the old days where you either stuff your bra or work with what God gave you. Drink soy milk, eat cheese, and hope for the best. Like me, I have big naturals, but women who get more have back problems or can't wear certain shirts. To which the guy responds, yeah, I empathize with them. There are a lot of types of pants I can't wear for obvious reasons. That was how I started my Thanksgiving, Evan.
What the fuck are you two? What she said sounds like it was written by AI. Wow.
Yeah.
That's so much information.
Yeah, it was a lot to process for sure.
I don't like them. I don't like anything about this.
Yeah,
Can you imagine the Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
I assume his family. Is his family like on the same level, or are they all just perfectly normal and these two people showed up?
That's exactly what I want to know.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was
gotta find the flight logs.
It was quite the experience.
Oh man, maybe if you type in that discussion into AI, it can let you know who's most likely to have said that.
Evan,
baffling. Yes.
Now I'd like to know how you doing.
I'm doing good. First off, I'll say, while you said that made me think there should be a new version of Love is Blind called Love is Flind.
Oh, where like
it's in the
you
air.
Have to match up. You have to propose to a stranger you just met on this flight before it lands.
Or all of these, it flies both ways. You don't get to actually stay in the place. You fly to Mykonos, and there's the captain talking over the thing.
Captain Nick Lachey.
Yeah, but you can't see it. And you have to make, everyone in the plane is making that decision. Am I in love with this guy? And then you make that choice and you fly back together if you are in love with that guy.
If you
Not that the captain can't be a woman. I fucked up.
I mean, there's the pilot. There are two co-pilots essentially. So
True. One of each.
But so what you're saying is the entire show
Yeah.
is a plane full of people.
Yeah.
All these passengers fly to Mykonos.
Yeah.
All like getting constant updates from the pilot.
Yes.
A communication system that famously only goes one way.
Yes.
And by the time you land in Mykonos, you have to decide, am I in love with the pilot of this aircraft? If I'm not, I have to get off the plane in Mykonos. And if I am, I stay on the plane and we turn around and fly back to wherever we took off from.
I didn't say that if they're not in love, they get off in Mykonos, but it's kind of a fun idea. Because then it's the trade-off. Are you really in love? If you're really in love, you'll pass up a trip to Mykonos to fly with the captain. This is not what I came here to talk about.
Yeah, but I have so many more questions about the mechanics of this show.
Okay. I mean, it's a thing I made up, but I can keep hammering down at this. I think we've got something.
Does the captain of the flight,
yes,
or either co-pilot, however that part of the show works, do they then at the end, after we've landed back at our original airport, do the pilots walk up the aisle and then pick one? I like you the best. How does
my mind,
victory, quote unquote, determined?
Messages are able to get to the captain, but only you hit
through the flight attendant.
You hit the button for a flight attendant to go. So it's a game of telephone. You got to pick the right flight attendant who you trust, to give the right message, because they're not jealous. Maybe they're in love with the captain. So you got to get to know the flight attendants first. This is how we stretch it into an entire show. I
see. Okay,
we're in.
Well, I guess we're in.
Love is blind. Coming.
Evan, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I was willing to go deeper into that because I don't have much to talk about this week. But
me neither. I was hoping you had a lot to talk about.
I mean, you covered it. That was plenty of conversation about two psychopaths on a plane to Thanksgiving.
Oh, I meant about our main topic.
About our main topic. I have plenty to talk about. Okay, great. The main topic. I have little how you doing to do. I just want to talk about an experience. We had roofers here. They were completely redoing the roof, prepping for winter. And they were working here for 3 or 4 days. And while they were here, they need a bathroom. Wah, wah, wah. But they're not allowed to use ours. Wah, wah, wah. They had a porta potty. They placed a porta potty in the little carport down at the bottom of our driveway. And they used that. They finished up their work. The porta potty was still there. It was unlocked. Just saying. They just picked that porta potty up 2 days ago? Yesterday? No, 2 days ago. So it was here for a full week plus.
Did you use it?
I used it. I used it once just because I had to. It was unlocked. And you know what?
Just because I had to.
How rare is it to walk past an unlocked porta potty that's not at like an event where you're like, of course they have honey buckets, as I've always known them. I think we've talked about this before.
I've never heard that term or
I believe it's a brand
or brand. Yeah,
honey buckets. Anyways, that's all. I think I want an outhouse now. It's nice.
So were you like, walking the dogs and you were like, before I get up to my house, I'm just going to go right here? Or were you in the house and were like, you know what? I know it's unlocked down there. Let me just run out real quick and test it out.
Yeah.
The second one? Okay. Were
To be
you...
fair, we have 2 people, 1 restroom.
Sure.
It was in use. I went, oh, cool. Let's go.
Okay. Were you at any point... This would be my fear. Were you at any point concerned that while you were in there, they were going to come and take it away?
No, that was not a concern of mine. But maybe it should have been. I don't know.
Then you would have been reunited with all those other honey buckets.
Yeah. Reunion.
Evan, you brought this topic up
and
said, I just went to one of these and I gotta talk about it.
Let me tell you what. I just went to 2 of these.
Oh my goodness.
I'm tired as hell. And neither of them were for me.
You should go to another one.
Okay.
3 Union.
3 Union.
3 united and it feels so good.
I'm trying to, so did you go? I'm assuming, you've had your 10th.
We have had our 10-year high school reunion, and I did not go. It was something that felt like it was planned kind of last minute. Like,
these things
I kind of brought it up to some of my friends, like, hey, I just kind of realized that, like, our 10-year reunion's coming up, and has anybody heard anything? And nobody had. And then a couple weeks later, we got, like, I don't know if it was an email or something, but some, like, survey of, like, where would you like to have the reunion? When would you like to have the reunion? And so filled that out, and then it was determined that it would be at some, like, soccer game. And I was like, that's weird. And I did not go. I saw photos and I thought to myself, I don't recognize a lot of these people. But I felt like looking back, I feel like I remember a lot of people from high school. I just didn't really recognize that many in the photos. And so I don't know if they were just like +1s or, all, hey, I'm setting up the reunion. Let me get a bunch of my other friends to come too at this, since it'll be at this soccer game. And then maybe people from high school will be there. I don't know what the deal was.
Having recently been to one, it feels like they're the people that set it up. And guess who is going out of their way to set these things up? The popular kids.
Yes, of course.
And they are the ones that want photos together.
Yeah.
I think it's fair. A case of probably a lot of the people that you like, who you know, or who you just like were acquaintances with.
Yeah.
Don't feel like getting their photo taken every time they're in public.
That's fair. I don't know. I don't think very many people I would have wanted to see at that reunion went to the reunion. So I didn't feel like I missed much.
So I went to my 10-year high school reunion and got the vibe. I'm like, assuming it gets planned in some capacity, I'll go to my 20th. But I do get the vibe, I hear from my parents will say that, like, we don't go to reunions anymore. Like every decade, there's fewer and fewer people who go that you care to see at all.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just like a certain personality type or what, but life moves on. And at a certain point, you stop thinking about high school all the time.
Yeah. God willing.
It was a similar, like, when we graduated, maybe it was like, what's the term for it? Class president, vice president. I wanted to say royalty.
Yeah.
Your class's people. And they're like, we're taking charge of this. This is like right after we graduated. Like, we're going to keep an eye out. 10 years from now, we'll have all this stuff planned. And I know some of the people who did this, and I'm not blaming them. I 100% understand. It felt like as it got closer, again, life moves on. You start thinking less and less about high school. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck, shit, we should put that together really quick. So the movies have put it in my head that a high school reunion, you're going back to that old stomping ground high school.
Yeah, in the gymnasium.
In the gym where prom was held. That isn't true. As far as I could tell with everyone's reunions, mine and now Jocelyn's, the school wanted nothing to do with us. They asked.
Right.
And they're just like, no, we have current students here
Right.
doing stuff. So they had I'll say moderately last minute, thrown together, like, we're going to have a family barbecue. So, like, during the day.
Okay.
It'll be daylight. Everyone bring your families. And we're just going to barbecue up a storm and catch up.
And mustard, presumably.
Awful. It felt like it leaned pretty hard towards people with kids.
Sure.
I don't have kids.
When I hear family barbecue in the middle of the day, I think there are going to be kids there.
Exactly. So I'm not opposed to that, but like I'm thinking through it, and like you're saying, like, are the people I like going to be there? People aren't RSVPing to it, and I'm like, yeah, most of my friends at that point did not have kids. In fact, I don't think I had a single friend who had kids at that point in time. So I'm like, how many people are going to go to this? And you're looking and people are not RSVPing. And so I'm kind of going like, maybe I don't go. I was in town for some reason. So it definitely had an easier vibe of like, I'll just swing by. Mm-hmm. But yeah, as it got closer, I'm like, I don't think I want to go. You see like a couple of people RSVPing, and I'm just like, I don't know those people very well. Maybe not. And then like very last minute, like word got around like, hey, we're reunion. We're going to hang out at the bar in town, which is owned or at least co-owned by one of our classmates. And so I saw the photos afterwards of the family barbecue, and there were like 7-8 people there. And this bar was fucking packed.
Hell yeah, brother.
And I felt bad because I'm like, I know people organized that, but it didn't look fun.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a good time. I had a good group of people. Didn't get like crazy, but just had a few beers, caught up with some people. But one overarching thing, and I will get to these reunions from the past few weeks. Not everybody, a lot of people are doing well. But I feel like an overarching vibe I've gotten from a lot of people when you go to reunions is that people are depressed. There's a lot of depressed people out there, and something about reuniting with the past, brings out a sadness.
Well, sure,
that's uncomfortable to be around.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely the layers of, I used to be. Maybe this isn't as big of a deal at the 10-year reunion, but I would imagine any reunion post 10 years, there's the sadness of like, I used to be so young. My back didn't hurt whenever I stood up. There's also the like, I really thought I'd be either further along or at a different point, or I would have achieved some of my goals by this point. And sometimes the world just beats you back down.
Again, going to the depression side of things, it seems like the world's beating everybody down at all moments. It depends how you react to it. I'm on medication. I understand. I recommend it to all of you.
I having not gone, so I don't know, but I assume that other than that level of depression that you're talking about, the other thing that would really get on my nerves, and already sort of does with the social media element of keeping in touch, are people drastically overinflating how their life is. Kind of overcompensating for that depression and being like, well, I'm amazing. I'm probably the most successful person post high school here. What, you think that too about yourself?
It's a common vibe. People want to impress.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you feel like so? I mean, this is a part of everything I'm saying. Is I just found out because we went to my girlfriend's 20th. That means I'm 2 years away from my 20th high school reunion. What the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Where did time go?
Yeah.
That's nuts. That's fucking crazy. It feels like my 10-year was like 2 or 3 years ago. It was not. It was 8. But do you feel like if you do, let's say, and again, you would be more, I believe you said so, similar to Jocelyn's case, where you went to a big school, so there are literal people you've never met before that you went to school with.
Yeah, I guess so.
But do you feel like you would want to impress? Or what impression would you like to impress upon people?
I think I would be likely to try to impress.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I would do that, but I do feel like I would.
Better start planning.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, I'll put it this way. If I were very successful.
Yeah.
I would for sure go to those reunions.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. We, in the group we were hanging out with at this last reunion, I didn't know any of these people, but I met a guy and he works at NASA. And I was like, oh, you win.
Yeah.
You're the guy. You're the one.
Yeah.
So I guess we can get to that. I don't know. I didn't feel, and I think partially because I went with my friend who at the time also still lived in that town. So I went with my best friend, and that made me feel less like if you go alone, it feels like I need to. Who am I? What am I? But going with someone and just if no one's talking to me or if someone's being weird or whatever, it's I'm just kind of hanging out with my friend, having a beer.
Right. Yeah,
everything's chill. But yeah, I don't know if I would. I think you and I both have easy. Just I moved to Los Angeles. You heard of it?
Sure.
And some people go oh shit, that's impressive.
Right.
I'm yeah, but I also left. But it doesn't matter. I lived there for a while.
Yeah.
That's cool, I guess.
Yeah. I think, and this isn't even exclusive to just class reunions, but reunions in general.
Mm-hmm.
When you reunite with somebody that you haven't seen in 2+ years at a minimum, I'm always I know that 2 years ago we got along really well. Can we do it again? Honestly, even if I know that we've had some of our, we stopped doing improv 5 years ago at this point.
Yes.
And we've talked to all of our former team members at some point after we stopped performing together.
Yes.
Because they've all been on this podcast. Some much more recently than others, but that's not the point. My point is, even if we were to, see them again, though, at this point, if I were to either, coincidentally out in the wild or through a setup get together.
This was a setup. You were invited to a birthday party, and we all showed up and started going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I would be like, do we still get along, or do we or have we? Do we have to rebuild from ground zero? I don't know.
I feel
I'm
like
sure there are different answers for different members of that team, but
no, for sure. I think overall we'd get along, and if not, like all together as a group, we'd have our little pockets, and it would be fun. I don't know about you. I would enjoy that, but this does also bring up another topic, which I think about my time at film school, which was similar to going to an improv class. Very, very small group of people. My entire school for my year was 27 people, and I think 2 dropped out. So, like, it's a small group. I keep in touch with maybe 5 or 6 of those people.
Yeah.
And it's like, at this point, we all live in different states, at least one person in another country. Same with our improv group. Everyone's kind of spread out all over the place at this point. I mean, I guess most people are still in California, but one isn't. So that
so there you
fully
go.
Validates what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We miss you, Gabe. Come back. We gotta have Gabe back on the podcast. Anyways, do you? I was gonna say whether you would enjoy it or not. Like, if it's something like that, like say me with film school, where I'm like,
right.
That would be fun. And I did not get along with all of those people. But I'm like, it's been a long time. I mean, that was just like the 1 year after high school. So that 20th is also coming up in 3 years. And that feels impossible because people are out of state. Do you feel like you have it in yourself to be that person? To just be like, I don't think anyone's going to try to get something together. What if I just make like a Facebook invite or some shit and just go like, I'm going to be at this location. Let's meet up. It's been a while. Do you have that in you at all? Or are you just waiting for someone else to send the invite?
I'm waiting for somebody else to send the invite for sure. I don't. I mean, I have the idea in me. I just don't have the follow through.
That's kind of me too.
I mean, I think it'd be a nice thing to do, but I think this was, I can't remember if I did this through like a Facebook thing or if I just texted a bunch of people. And I think I've told this story on the podcast before, but there was a day in high school where like Dairy Queen was having some like, come buy a Blizzard and we'll give a bunch of money to charity or something like that.
All right.
And I was like, what a great excuse for us all to get together, have a delicious sweet treat, and feel like we're doing something good.
That rules. I love that idea.
I sent an invite to a bunch of people, and I was the only one who went.
Oh.
And so for that reason, Sharks, I'm out. And I will no longer be organizing events.
Yeah. I feel like I've done that. I've organized. We did an event for a little while. This is hard to explain. My friend Brandon, who now lives out of state, we went to high school together and elementary school together. I knew that guy for a long time. One of my better buddies. And his nickname was Beej because his initials are BG. So I just called him Beej all the time because it made me laugh. And he was I think that first one was for zero reason at all. We just held what I called a beach BQ. And a lot of us got together at his house and just had a little barbecue. And then it became a thing like 10 years passed. And I was like, I'm going to organize another one. Reunion time. Let's get everyone together. And it's like, I did. And if the original one, there were like maybe 11 or 12, just a little over 10.
Yeah.
Which, as we know from the exaggerations episode, means 9.
Yes.
People were there. Like 4 showed up for the 10 year. And it's like, that's fine. We had a blast. It was really fun.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it again. It's like you get hurt just this much. That's not even a full hurt. That wasn't me alone eating charity blizzards.
Right.
Which might have been a better time. But there is that just like, I don't know, expectations. And I worry about my classmates who organized that barbecue.
Yeah.
And had the same experience. 100 some kids and 4 showed up or whatever.
Right, exactly.
That's rough.
That's rough.
I don't know if anyone will organize a 20th. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know how a 20th would get like organized, or not organized, but how they would get invites out.
It is different now. Yeah, there are so many fewer people who are on Facebook.
Yes.
I
With
guess
good reason.
Yeah.
I wish to join them, and hopefully
100%.
soon I will. Right now, one of my friends has started poking me on Facebook, and so I've been poking back. But as soon as that poke war is over, maybe it'll be time to. I can't leave the website when I'm being poked.
No, that is part of the fun. I haven't been poked in, I would say, 10 years, and it's time for a reunion.
You should do you should set up an event and invite everybody, but instead of like going somewhere, it's just like, I invite all of you to poke me on Facebook on this day, and then see how many people do it.
That's an amazing idea. If I'm getting in that situation where the 20th is coming up, which I don't even know, what do you measure the 20th by graduation day? Or just that
I
year
think just
sometime
that
in general,
year,
the summertime.
Yeah.
If we're around that time, which I guess is also when graduation are generally. If we're around that time and no one's talking about a reunion, I will instigate a poke war on Facebook. That sounds like a good old time. I didn't even know you still could poke on Facebook.
I didn't either, but I got the notification. And I went to war.
I sent an accidental poke once. That felt bad to someone like I had just met and like added on Facebook and like wanted to look at their profile or something and accidentally clicked poke. And I'm like, oh, I had to respond. I did an accident.
I didn't mean to poke you.
I didn't mean to poke you. Well, anyways, these past few weeks, and I know we're running out of time, and just now I'm talking about what's going on.
Yeah.
I've been to 2 reunions, both not mine, which has been interesting. I'd never done that before. Previous relationships, I never went to a reunion with them. So the first one, not much to report, was a college art school. It was an art show. For my girlfriend's art program. And that was really fun and went really well. And it was cool. It's always nice to have something like that where it's like there's a thing to do. You know,
yeah.
We're not just standing in a warehouse looking at each other.
Yeah.
But this past weekend was her high school reunion. And it was at a brewery. And I got a little bone to pick with this. There was a band. And it's like, oh, there's going to be a band there playing songs of the time.
And you were upset because they didn't ask you to do it.
Yes. In my mind, and I think in reality, a reunion is for catching up with people and talking. And what makes that more difficult than a lot of loud noises.
Yeah.
And it's like they were good, but Jocelyn and I were also talking. Like, she graduated a specific year, and I'm thinking, like, songs of the time, they're going to be looking at, like, the early 2000s and, or, like, the, whatever, mid 2005, do that, whatever. Mid pre 2010s. I don't know what you call that anymore. But that era, and when you're looking at music, and I know cover bands, I'm like, they're gonna be playing The Killers and My Chemical Romance and stuff like that. This is
Sure.
my guess. And she's going like, yeah, but all that stuff came out after we graduated. And I think the same thing does kind of apply to, you think about, like, if you graduated in the 80s, and it's like, oh yeah, 30-40 year reunion, whatever. Math is not on my side. 50-60,
Yeah.
who's counting? They're gonna play, like, there's gonna be a band there playing 80s music. It's like, yeah, but if I graduated in 84 and, like, half of that music's from after I graduated, like, is that gonna feel right? It feels like there should be just a specific pinpoint and go, like, we're gonna play the songs from that came out the day you graduated. I don't know. I think the thing is, when it's a type of music that you over time you pinpoint as the music of that time period, there's no longer any consideration to, I wasn't in high school for that musical time period. You know what I mean? Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah.
None of that had happened yet. When it's like a big change in sound, it's like, yeah, it wasn't like a bunch of emo, screamo bands and shit like that. It was this or that. I don't know. Overly overthinking this, certainly. But my voice is still recovering from talking over that band.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was the first time going to someone else's reunion, being a side piece, if you will.
Yeah.
And when we did the art show, I was pretty quiet. I just kind of took a side spot. It's like there was alcohol there too, but I just had like one. They had like little seltzer cocktails. But this one, it was at a brewery. When you sign in, they gave you a drink ticket. So I got a free beer.
Nice.
And that's a way to get me going, apparently. Because I was the most talkative, extroverted fucking person I've ever been in this room. I almost was like, do I feel more comfortable talking to a large group of strangers than I do being in like a small group of people I went to high school with, or people that I vaguely know, sort of know? I'm just like, I didn't know a single person there other than Jocelyn. And I was thriving. It was weird. I got to know another side piece pretty well. And we're like, get to the point where I'm like, oh, come on, up to the house.
Yeah, you want to get out of here?
Yes, 100%. But there is something about just... And this is also, I think, a factor of reunions. Even though it wasn't my reunion, it was just like in high school, it gets very cliquey,
Sure.
like anything. And you go, oh, there's a popular group, there's the nerds, and there's the, I don't know, car guys, and whatever other group you can think of.
Yeah, those are the famous groups that I think of when I think
in Elma?
Of high school cliques.
I think those are the three main ones. But then you go to the reunion, and maybe this is the one thing that makes the popular people sad. Is realizing like we're all the same. We're all just fucking people here, and those high school whatever cliques or whatever don't exist in the same way anymore. My landlord's calling. Fucking give me a sec. Hey. Yes, sorry, I forgot to respond. We can try to. The problem is, the only time it leaks is after the load has finished. So I don't really want to get the laundry going while they're still in there working on it. So we might have to just test it after they leave. Yeah, we can do a load and let you know. But no, they said it's full and they'll be pumping it, etc. So hopefully, yes, yeah. They said there's a little bit of seepage under there, so yeah. So hopefully that's all, and that takes care of it. But yeah, I don't think we'll be able to test while they're here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. I I hadn't noticed a difference in the color. Yeah, it looked the same to me. I'm not positive. They were back once for the gutter repair. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. No problem. All right. Sounds good. If I didn't say it, they have found it. They found the tank, so we're good. All right. Yep. All right. You too. Bye.
I swear to God.
Ugh. It's been a while since we've done an episode like this.
Yeah.
To break it into 20 parts.
Good thing we didn't book Will today.
Hey. Yeah. So, anyways, we're all the same,
Right.
and
You go up to their tables and rub it in.
I'm the same as you. You didn't go to high school here, which there were. Which, oh man, I'm just like run. I've got too many things to talk about. They did have name tags, and they got a little symbol, like their school symbol thing, on the name tag if you went there, and I didn't get one. So I had a name tag without one, so everyone knew I'm an outsider. Although we had joked about, like, with a school that big, like, I wonder if I could convince someone. Like,
I was going to ask, if you could do that.
She gave me some teacher names I could
Yeah,
throw out just to fuck around and see. But anyways, as far as the people go, I immediately found myself in my old crew of nerds. Jocelyn's been calling me the king of the nerds. I just immediately clicked with this group of people that were just like, you play D&D? I'm like, no, I play Magic the Gathering. So I was like, did you say Magic? That we're going off. Jocelyn's going like, I don't remember you. It's like, oh yeah, we played Dungeons and Dragons during lunchtime in Mr. Blank's class or whatever. Says, well, yeah, that's why I never met you.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I love those fucking guys. It just really clicked really fast. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's just a personality type I get along with well. But on the flip side of that, just one major thing, unless I'm forgetting something that I wanted to bring up because it cracks me up. Back on the popular side of things, the people who put on this event, there were two. I'm assuming felt like class king and queen, prom king and queen. Maybe not, but that was the vibe. And at the end of it, we were being rushed out. Go outside. They're going to give a speech. The band's going to stop playing, and they're giving a speech on the stage. It's like, oh, I don't care. I didn't go to school here. And they're like, right. You got to get out there. So we're out there, and this woman is giving a speech. I don't know if she is or not, but there's a type of person that there's a lot of up here in the mountain, which is realtors.
Sure.
I got a realtor vibe from this person. I feel like a lot of the popular kids I went to school with also became realtors. I don't know. That is
a definite the pipeline. Move. Yeah.
It's weird. But so she's talking like, oh my gosh, this is so incredible. I'm so happy. Thank you all for making it out here. It's been so fun networking with all of you. Come again? You've been networking?
Maybe she didn't even go to the school. What if she too was a side piece that used it as a networking opportunity?
It's a whole nother personality type to have a high school reunion and it's like, and you're going like, I'm friends. I have so many friends. She was the one like hustling everyone over. Like, we got to get a picture together. Not you come here.
Yeah.
And it's like, you are looking at this as a networking thing.
I know.
That's unhinged.
I went to a wedding 2 or 3 months ago, and somebody at our table gave us all her business card. But she's from out of state. None of us are going to need that business.
No, unless you're moving there.
That's true.
Well, pick a state. What was it?
I can't even remember. I think it was South Dakota.
Doesn't sound worth it. I don't know anything about South Dakota. I'm going to assume it's very beautiful.
Yeah, they've got those faces in that rock.
That's where that is.
Here's a question.
Looks hard.
Maybe this is a different topic altogether, but you've been talking a lot about class reunions.
Yes.
And when you suggested reunions, the first one that I thought of was family reunions.
Oh.
I feel like family reunions outside of like, the family members that you regularly see. And by regularly, I mean like once a year counts. But the extended family that you never see except for a family reunion. I don't think I enjoy that.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather go to a high school reunion.
Yeah, and maybe for the best. I don't know, because I feel like I kind of agree. Not that I like my family, but but
there's a reason that I don't see.
Yeah,
some of you more often.
Yeah, we've only had one, and I was I don't know, guesstimating. I'd say 12, 13, early teens.
Okay.
And it was fine. I mean, it was at my great uncle Norm's house, and
everybody came into the house and they were like, "Norm!"
Yes,
a reverse cheers. Where everybody entering says Norm instead of.
So a pool goes a long way with stuff like that when you're kids.
Yeah, of course.
And it's like, meet your uncle, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's not my uncle. I know my uncles.
Right.
Who the fuck are you? But yeah.
Kids, come here. New uncle just dropped.
I remember a pool, and I remember someone brought a bucket of KFC. Or I'm mixing things up. But those are the good memories. From the family reunion. But we're at the point, and it does, I don't know, maybe this is a millennial thing, where there's like this cutoff where it's like now, and maybe part of it also is because of the internet. Like it feels like the people, I mean, it's just kind of how everything with Facebook and Instagram works. The people that you want to keep in touch with, you keep in touch with.
Of course.
And that includes family.
Yep.
And again, if you're family and you're listening to this and I don't keep in touch with you, I don't actually mean it in that way. I am bad at keeping in touch with people. There are family
Yeah.
members I don't talk to very often that I do love and that I would like to see. But it's not the
Yes.
whole group of you. And I think a part of it is like a lot of people have passed. I think the impetus for that
Mm.
reunion was like, I don't remember who even, no one I knew, but an elder, a family elder,
Yeah.
uh, getting up there in years. And it's like, while she's still here, let's get everyone together. And yeah, a lot of that is gone now. So it feels weird. You don't see a lot of like, oh, family reunion, and the older people are my family's or my parents' age. You know,
Yeah.
no offense.
We had a family reunion, I think, when I was in like middle school. That was kind of the same thing that you were talking about. Somebody's getting up there in age, and so let's all get together. So I don't really remember that one super well. But then we had one at the end of high school or maybe early college. So this is about 10 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
And we all rented like a big cabin in Colorado, and we all stayed in this big old cabin. So I don't know if the reason that I don't like family reunions is the last one I went to, I was a teenager and was the oldest of the children, but not really an adult. So in that weird area where I can't really relate to most of the other kids who are there, and the adults are trying to relate to me, but I don't want to because you're not one of me, and I'm not one of you. So what are we doing here? Some people, we invited two of the elders of the family to our wedding, and at least one of them, it was kind of a situation of like, this is why we don't really see you very often. I don't really like you that much.
Yeah, I think that's the worry. And yeah, I guess it's like it comes right back around to like, I guess we are now that age of like, we would be the people to push for it and go like, I'm going to organize this and get all the family together. But I don't know. We have our once a year with my one side of the family. We do our little thing, and I don't know. It would be half nice. It would be. There's a part of me that, and it's the same part of me that's on Ancestry.com, poking around that tree, shaking them branches.
They should have a poke feature on Ancestry.com.
Can I? Has any? It's a sad topic, but like I've got a lot of people in my life who have passed away, who I'm still Facebook friends with.
Yeah,
it'd be weird to poke them. Just send them a little.
Only if they poke back.
Then
it's weird, I think.
Oh man, yeah, family. That's a good reunion. I think on a smaller level, just friend reunions, not even like a high school reunion. When we just got my good buddy Connor, who I believe Dustin was talking about at the start of that episode. He's been all over the world doing sport coach science things. And so I haven't seen him in forever. Lived in France. He was the one I was going to go visit in New Zealand before the pandemic broke everything. And now he's back in the States, and Jocelyn got to meet him. We just had crepes with him the last time I was in town. And it was lovely. And I'm like, I like that. I would love to. I could organize that. It's almost the Beach BQ all over again. I could be the one to organize, like, hey, Elma McClary friends, can we all try? But okay, so you see where that thought was going. I'm not even going to finish that thought because it relates to this part of, and then we got to quizzle. We got to quizzle it up, babies. But this reunion, given that it was last weekend, was immediately after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
The thought being people are in town for Thanksgiving.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
I think it kind of makes sense.
That's my same vibe.
It depends on like which day was it after Thanksgiving. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Because, Thursday, most people spend with their families. Maybe Friday, they also get that chance to still do some family stuff. Yeah. But then by Saturday, people are like, get me out of this house with my family. So
yeah. And I think that was part of a lot of people didn't. Part of the problem in my mind is like, it is that point. And so a lot of people go home then.
Right.
And I get like, if we had endless notice, but this was, like you were saying, pretty last minute thrown together.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, people already booked their flights home. People are leaving. Personally, I almost feel like I'd rather it be away from a holiday and just go like, if you really want to go, you'll go.
Yeah.
And book your own travel regardless. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. That's what was popping into my head when I was talking about getting friends together, because it's like it feels easier when it's like, oh, Christmas time or whatever, and everyone's in town.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like, man, Christmas time's fucking busy.
Yeah.
And the older you get, the busier it feels. I don't know. The older you get, the busier it feels. Heed my words, boy.
So true. Something else that's so true is that you can find this podcast on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Pocket Cast, HowDoWeHuman.com. You can rate and review and subscribe and follow, all those wonderful things. You can also reach out to us on social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at HowDoWeHuman.
We got that handle.
You can also send us an email to HowDoWeHumanPod@gmail.com.
Best part of that handle is coffee.
Evan, it is time to take that quizzle.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember how close the score got last week.
2, I think.
Yes, Evan, you have 22 points and I have 20 points. We're going to answer 5 more questions. Question number 1. Caravaggio was a master of which painting technique? Oil painting, fresco, chiaroscuro, or engraving?
I'm pretty sure one of these is a plate of meats and cheeses, so I don't think it's that.
I do have a guess, but I'm not confident in it.
I have a guess that feels right, and a guess that was my first instinct. And this is always the worst place to be in between.
It is.
I'm going to say fresco.
That's also what I'm saying.
And that's the one that was my first instinct.
Oh, it was chiaroscuro.
Charcuterie. Oh. Which Red Hot Chili Peppers album includes the hit Californication? Stadium Arcadium, Californication, By the Way, or The Getaway?
Well, I hate this because I know you know it.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like Californication is like, why would they even ask this question?
Right.
So I don't think it's Californication. I'm prepared to lose my 2-point deficit and make it 3 points. And I'm going to say the answer is By the Way.
Okay. By the way, it's Californication.
Okay.
You're answering my answer.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Getting a question right.
You're right. We said Californication too many times.
It's funny how it, like, the logic of it worked, where I laughed going like, oh, I love a big Red Hot Chili Peppers fan. I know this, but didn't think until I was reading, like, oh, yeah, the answer is the name of the song. But it didn't occur to me.
Yeah, that's weird.
That could make you... Why are they even asking that question?
Yeah.
It's a weird choice.
Zendaya stars in which HBO series about a troubled teen? Big Little Lies, Euphoria, 13 Reasons Why, or The Undoing? I think we both know this, yes?
I do know this.
Okay.
Euphoria.
Yes.
Lascaux Cave, I'm going to pronounce it, is famous for prehistoric paintings found in which country? What questions about painting today?
I don't like that.
Lascaux Cave is famous for prehistoric paintings found in which country? France, Greece, Italy, or Spain? AKA España.
You're right. That is what that is also called. Look,
Prehistoric painting.
I have an answer, but at this point, who cares?
I got a few I like. France. I'll just say France.
That's what I'm going with too. And it is correct.
All I knew is they've got those catacombs. They love their old shit.
I just felt like Lascaux
I didn't
the
even
most
think
French.
about that. That was French as hell.
The Millau Viaduct, the tallest bridge in the world, is located in which country? Germany, France, Spain, or España, or Italy?
It's practically the same answers. Swapping Greece for Germany.
Sucks, yeah.
Millau Viaduct. Millau. I can say Millau in any of these accents, and it sounds right. So that doesn't help me. I've never heard of that's the tallest bridge in the world.
Yeah, me neither. I have my answer.
I'm going Italy.
All right, I'm going to go Germany.
Okay. It's a good answer. Good answer.
It was France
Fucking
again.
France. They've got everything there. Old stuff, tall stuff, French stuff.
What more could you need?
What more could you need?
So we do go to now a 3-point deficit.
Okay.
I now have 22 points, and Evan, you have 25.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Big ups to Anthony, Flea, and John, and Chad.
Yeah, Quizzle can fuck right off with that question.
Oh, but I don't know. Oh, okay, by the way.
Yeah, okay, by the way.
Okay, by the way. Bye?
Bye.
I don't know where to end it. Okay, bye. The way.